This is just water. Happy Pride Month, everyone! Yeah! Hello, welcome back to this channel. We are very happy to see you again, or for the first time. Hello, hello, hi, hi. And for this week, we have a very special video, which is a show recommendation, but not any show. One of our favorites that we like to watch, which is Queer Eye. And what better time to talk about Queer Eye than, you know, Pride Month. So you may be wondering, what is this Queer Eye? What is this show? I've never heard of it. This is just water, by the way. Well, let me give you a quick history lesson on Queer Eye. Let me take you back in time with me. 'Twas the year 2003, and one man by the name of David Collins came up with an idea for a show that he called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, or Queer Eye for short. It featured a team of 5 gay style professionals that gave makeovers to generally heterosexual dudes, men, and this show continued for about 5 seasons and ended in 2007. But you may be wondering, hey, well, if the show ended like over a decade ago, why are we talking about it right now? And that is because in 2018, Netflix picked up Queer Eye for another season, or just give it a reboot. Yay, everybody clap. Queer Eye is back, and this time, remember that guy with the brilliant idea that we talked about before, David Collins, the creator? He's back as well as an executive director. So now, with a new cast, we're back once again. In each episode of the show, it features our 5 fabulous style experts giving makeovers to men and women who were generally nominated by their friends and family. And the show has already aired its 5th season on Netflix very recently on June 5th, I'm pretty sure, this year. And it's already been renewed for a 6th season. So if you haven't started watching the show already, I think this is a great time to start. But you may be wondering, well, I don't know any of these experts. Why are they great? Why do I care about what they think? Well, we'll introduce them right now. Well, Judy will do that. So we're gonna cut to that wherever we're gonna cut. Cool.
I've been a procrastinator like all day long. I was supposed to film this like this morning, but then I overslept, so that I've been dragging this on. Now it's already 11 p.m. and I'm pretty tired, but that's what you get when you procrastinate, kids, so don't do that. For those of you who don't really know Queer Eye, I will introduce you guys to the 5 MCs really quick. They are known as the Fab Five, like Fabulous 5. Okay, I think you guys get that. The first one we have Tan, so he is responsible for fashion and design. He helps the clients or the nominees or the star of the show, whatever you call them. He helps the nominee to dress up or make changes to their wardrobe so they will appear more confident or suit their daily need a little bit better. For me personally, I just really love Tan and his voice. He has that very elegant, gentle European voice. Instead of denying his client's style or wardrobe completely, he always stack his constructive criticism with praises. So his clients will feel really comfortable when he is making new suggestions. He is always respectful of everyone's style. And next up, we also have Jonathan, which is the one who is in charge of grooming and hairstyling. From time to time, a little bit of makeup as well. When you first see Jonathan in the show, you might feel like he's a little bit overly dramatic or always talking like, yes, queen. Like, okay, I can't mimic him, but you'll see if you watch the show. So for me, actually, it took me maybe 1 or 2 episodes to get used to his dramatic style. But the more you watch about him, like the more I fell in love with him. I was like, he is actually so adorable as a person. Like, he always makes you laugh with his cute little moves or like funny little jokes. I would say that he encourages and lifts his clients up by making a lot of funny comments that are also empowering at the same time. Next up, we have Bobby, who is the interior designer who really makes that physical makeover happen. I still can't get over how talented he is as an interior designer. Every house that he has helped to renovate has been so amazing. Bobby's works usually make up one of my favorite parts of the video. I just love to see the expression on the client's face when they see how their house has been completely transformed from their original, maybe a little bit plain, messy, chaotic living space into a beautiful, functional house that is welcoming, that is cozy. Every time I see any of the house, I'm just like, yes, please, like I would move in the next day. The second last person is Anthony. Anthony is a very, very attractive MC in my opinion. Personally, I think Anthony is the hottest of the Fab Five. And I think he is the only guy who has showed me that guys can look good in smoky eye makeup too. And I really like his style. Sometimes he can really just dress himself up with a very simple, shirt and shorts, yet with a little touch of accessories or even like a little scarf, can just enlighten his whole outfit. Enhance his whole outfit. I've been talking about how attractive he is instead of mentioning what he actually does. So he is in charge of teaching the client how to make food or how to bond and make connections with the people around you through food, and he is quite charming when he cooks. Also, he is a very good chef. Always forgetting what's the more important thing here. But last but not least, we have Karamo. He is in charge of culture. So I think Karamo has a wider range of issues to deal with here. Karamo has a more flexible kind of task because his main job is to help client out with their own spiritual needs or internal issues. So a lot of this can include maybe cultural clashes, hardship of fitting in, low self-confidence, certain fears when it comes to a life stage, and the list goes on. Karamo is quite creative with the activities that he come up with. A lot of times it can involve sports or, going shopping or meeting a guest celebrities and many, many more activities like that. Now that you guys know a little bit more about the Fab Five, we will now talk about why we like Queer Eye so much.
See, now you know more about them. Aren't they great? Don't you love them? I love them. They're great. I think I've already said that, but okay, that wasn't enough of an incentive for you to watch the show. That's okay. Well, here's another reason why you should watch it, and that is whether you believe in healing tea or those crystals or magic or, I don't know, other substances. Well, this show works better than all of that. It's got such great healing properties, it will be as if you were a magician yourself. And if you like tea, well, here's some tea for you. This is positivity. Funny, I know, get it? Okay, cool. But on a more serious note, I think what makes the show so great is that not only does it show happy endings, like a happy story, but also I think this is a show about hope. It brings confidence into the person who's watching this show, and it makes them have faith in themselves when they're facing certain challenges in their own lives. Even though, I'm just watching some random person on a TV, but I find that when I'm watching this show, even though the style team, the Fab Five, aren't talking to you particularly, but you feel as if there's so many lessons that you can take from this show that you can apply to your own life. And watching someone who may be struggling in one form or another get over that and become a better version of themselves, it inspires me and motivates me to also look for ways to do that in my own life. And I aspire to be a better person because of this show, because I have faith in myself, seeing somebody else do it online or on TV, that I can do it as well. And isn't that great? Isn't that good? But also just because, especially now because of everything that's going on in the world that is not necessarily positive, sometimes it's just nice to watch a happy story and to see that while, there may be a lot of things happening in the world that are not so positive, that are not great, positivity and humanity is there if you look for it, if you see it. And I think it makes everybody feel better. If you had a bad day, it's okay because you can turn on your computer and watch one of these episodes and instantly feel better about yourself, about the world, about everything. And I think we just like happy endings. Isn't that why we watch a lot of movies, a lot of TVs? But this time you're watching an actual person get over certain challenges they're facing in their own lives and watching a real life happy ending take place instead of something that's just out of a fairy tale. And I think that's also really powerful in its own way. And I think a lot of people take power in that, and a lot of people learn from that and believe in that, which is why this show, I think, has been so successful in the past couple of years. And I would even say that it's therapeutic in a way, that sometimes I just like watching people be happy. Don't you? Do we, as a functional human in society, I like happiness. Don't we all like happiness? Is someone out there be like, no, I thrive on sadness? I hope you're okay in that case. I mean, in that case, please get a therapist, please go to therapy. That's very important. Your mental health is very important. If you're having a sad day, I think this show provides hope that everything will be okay, that you'll be okay, that the world is okay, that despite all the negativity we might find in our lives, there is positivity. And this represents sort of that determination to overcome the challenges that we face in our daily lives. And I think what makes it even better is that the nominees in this show are just regular people. They're not celebrities. They're not like these extraordinary people. Even if we don't look like them, even if they're not us, they remind us of ourselves. And I think it's the message that makes it so powerful. It's the idea that everyone deserves a happy ending, even if you're not at it right now. But doesn't it encourage us to look towards something that we can do in order to improve upon our own lives? Doesn't it inspire us to become the better version of ourselves? Maybe you believe in rose quartz or your other crystals and you're like, no, that's actually legitimate science. Maybe, but also I believe that this show is science. And not just science, it's science and magic. And also, I think in a world filled with so much negativity, just anything that chooses to project positivity is something that should be applauded and should be respected. And the fact that this show has received such good response from its audience is just a testament to the fact that it's a good show. And wherever you may be, whoever you may be, wherever you may be in your life, I think this is a show that appeals to a pretty broad audience, that everybody will find something that they can grasp onto, that's something that they would like in the show. And overall, it's just so wholesome. And it's so wholesome.
I want to talk about the educational property that Queer Eye has. Of course, I am not talking about academic education. I'm talking about a cultural education, a emotional education that teaches you to become more aware of the different people around you and become more empathetic and accepting towards the different people in your community. I think a common phenomenon that we realize in our community is that similar people will bond and form groups. So I often wonder how many more groups are out there in my community that I have yet to meet. This is because Queer Eye has a really diverse group of nominees. They can range from any age group, from college students all the way to an retired 70 or even 80-year-old. You also get to watch episodes about people who have completely different ethnicities or backgrounds growing up, live in different cities of America, and they also have a series where they film in Japan, so that was also really cool because as an Asian, I feel like I could connect with a lot of the Japanese episodes a lot better, even though I am Chinese, but that Asian culture do bring a sense of familiarity and similarity to my own experience. And of course, these nominees also have different occupations, marital status, and different family dynamics that they struggle with. This diverse group of nominees really allowed me to open up my eyes to see how different yet similar everyone can be. I can't remember how many times I teared up watching episodes about nominees who rarely have any similar background or experiences related to me. Queer Eye has this magical power that allows us to empathize with the people who appear to be so differently from us. Yet by watching this show, you realize that we are all human in the end. You can totally understand their emotions and their struggles. So I would say even though our background and our demographic may be different, but emotions and that human connections will always remain similar. To wrap up the diversity point, Queer Eye does a really good job to make sure that their nominees are diverse, so all of their viewers can always find nominees that they relate to or find similarity with, but also get to know a lot of nominees who are different from them. I think Queer Eye successfully makes us, the viewers, realize that the gaps between different groups of people are actually a lot smaller than we thought, and this ultimately makes us become more accepting, welcoming, and empathetic towards one another. Wow, I think that's the most politically correct I will ever be in my life. So yes, I think Queer Eye as a show really does make my politically incorrect side go away to make sure that I am a morally good person. Another reason I think that Queer Eye is a cultural education is because that all the MCs or the Fab Fives will from time to time make gentle yet critical commentary to the social issues that we face in our society. They really do touch up upon a variety of social issues that everyone struggles with, This can include how society has pressure or expectations on you to be married at a certain age or find a spouse at a certain age, or our society's beauty standard and the insecurities that people feel around it, or gender expectations where both females and males feel like they have to act in a specific way to be accepted or to be considered a good dad or mom. The Fab Five also pay a lot of attention to issues related to minority. I remember there was an episode about a woman who struggles between her Mexican and American identity. There was an episode about an Asian American struggling between that Asian or Korean standard of excellence versus her American or more westernized life. There are also a lot more episodes featuring minority groups who are involved in the LGBTQ community. I distinctively remember that there was an episode about a transgender individual because I think it was the first time that I actually got to know an individual involved in the LGBTQ community so intricately and so deeply. I was actually very, very moved by their story, about their struggles, their conflict with their parents, how they feel alone after they have a fight with their parents, and how they struggle to find that community, that family again through the LGBTQ community. It was such a long and hard journey. Although I can't say that I 100% empathize with their backgrounds because I just think it's rude for you to say, oh, I understand what you're going through when you have nothing similar to them. But I do empathize with her emotions of feeling so alone and helpless, yet so angry at the people who continues to exclude them and reject them. So some of the whole cultural awareness talk, I think Queer just does a really good job featuring diverse nominees as well as a diverse commentary on the social issues and struggles that everyone goes through, so the audience can always have something that they relate to and learn about if they don't. With that said, I just want to end this video with a quick comment on the few episodes that really moved me. Aside from the episode featuring a transgender individual, there was also another episode about a gay man who was originally from Japan, and later on he moved to Canada and then London, and then he met his boyfriend there. As an Asian member, I can totally understand the overwhelming pressure that he feels as a gay person, because I think Asia is still very far behind on this whole LGBTQ awareness and movement. So to be openly gay is extremely challenging. So I really admired his courage of bringing his boyfriend to his mom and letting his colleagues know that he is gay. And he also talked a lot about his experience growing up in Japan and how he was bullied for being a shemale or very girly. It was a really sad yet so romantic and cute story. So I really loved that episode. So you guys should check it out. And then another one that I really loved was an old man called Kenny, who has been single basically all his life. And he often feels a disconnect from his family, even though he is a super nice dude who helps out at his church a lot. But he just feels alone a lot of the time. I don't know why, but that episode touched me so much. I guess in a way, he reminded me of my grandparents, because I think a lot of times when an individual gets old, it just seems like you kind of lose hope in your life, or you feel like your life is just not as meaningful or purposeful as when you're young, and you just start to give up on yourself. So I really love that episode because I think Fab Five did a really good job by telling him that, hey, like, this isn't the end to your life. There are so many more years and bright future ahead of you. Your age should never be an excuse for you to shut your doors and close everyone out. So that's another episode I really love. The last episode I'll quickly recommend you guys is the woman who struggled between her Mexican and American community. She was mainly talking about how throughout her life, starting as a teenage mom, she has always felt devalued by the people around her, especially she is also a female and an immigrant. Nobody had high expectation on her or think that she's gonna accomplish something great, and she has that low self-esteem because of all of these reasons. And throughout the episode, you just see how she finds more power within herself, become more confident. And once she has grasped that confidence, she is also really able to embrace the fact that she is a professional in her field. So that was also a very empowering episode. that I really enjoyed. So you guys can also check that out. With that said, this will be the end of our video. I hope some of our words have inspired you to watch Queer Eye. And if you have, please comment down below and let us know what you think about the show.